Phase 2. Solar science has determined that the sun's rate of aging will cause it to enter a red giant phase, expand well beyond this point in space, and eventually consume Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars in the process. However, since this will take about 50 million years to happen, which may not be a very long time on the larger scale of events, it still allows us ample time to get our affairs in order, determine our purpose in the universe, or at the very least the next mission for our existence, and figure out how to live without any assistance from the planet that has allowed us to evolve to this point. Either way, we ultimately face the choice of staying on Earth until it becomes uninhabitable and renders us extinct, or dealing with the eventuality that our evolution will need to continue elsewhere. Conclusions that can be directly drawn from the above. 1. Our current visions of cultivating Mars into a useful colony are simple-minded. It's almost the same exact size as Earth, so if it isn't capable of solving all of the problems we're facing here, it's more likely to double the amount of difficulties we have to contend with, since we would have failed to come to grips with reality while living on the same planet, and would then be compounding this failure by giving ourselves another imaginary line to contend with, one between planets, and that would only exaggerate the division that has kept us demented, sociopathic, and genocidal ever since we learned how to talk. Also, in light of the sun's appetite, Mars will only remain a livable place for a few 100,000 years longer than Earth, so it won't even be useful as a fallback place while the sun expands, because if we can't solve our problems over the course of the millions of years we have between now and then, we certainly won't be able to do it in the remaining fraction of time. 2. Moving to other planets that will remain outside of the sun's reach might be feasible if we discover that we're unable to leave this solar system before the sun becomes a red giant, but the immense gravity of Jupiter and Saturn will prevent us from living on those planets, at least with the current physics of our evolution. And while the details of how planets themselves evolve remains beyond our comprehension, we might be able to alter our own evolution if we determine it to be the best course of action to deal with the increased gravity of giant planets. 3. Our established methods of using every resource available regardless of when or if it might expire, including ourselves, since a majority of our population has been wasted as little more than a generic and expendable resource, a process which has turned so very many us into unhappy slaves, has not only brought the ecology to the precipice of unsustainability for most of the species around us, many of which have already been destined for extinction, but has magnified and exacerbated the frivolous hatreds we hold for each other. So it seems obvious that living as simple consumers and mindless users isn't anywhere close to a proper approach to evolution.
I'm Chaz from Pittsburgh, and I'm not afraid of shit.
My name's Todd. I'm from Philly. Fight the power. I ain't afraid of shit.
I'm Janet Wilson, and I'm a supporter.
I ain't afraid of shit.
And I ain't afraid of shit.
I'm Rob Burton, and I ain't scared of shit.
My name is Robert Rich, and I ain't afraid of shit.